What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, today I kind of want to share some mental clarity that I've received or gotten recently. Going through all the stress of, doing cash out refinance on my 20 unit, as well as trying to sell my mobile home park, and just going through this, difficult time in my life and this very stressful time in my life. I've gained a lot of mental clarity. And that's what they kind of say in a lot of podcasts I listen to. The moment that you feel like things are not going your way, the moment that you feel like you're at rock bottom, the moment you feel like everything's against you, that is the moment when you got to look around and just soak in as much as possible because the universe is trying to give you clarity and guidance, right? And that's the approach that I've definitely been taking, right? Like I'm trying to analyze everything, right? That's why I'm journaling a lot now in the morning as part of my miracle morning routine. And because I want to capture these points of clarity so I can take it with me moving forward, right? So that is what's very key about clarity. So for me, I will say my entire life, I've basically been an autopilot, right? Like, if you think about it, like, I went to high school, right? I was taking a bunch of advanced classes, honors classes, getting good grades, getting like a 4.3 GPA so that I can get into a 5 year pharmacy program at the University of Pacific. And, there I was an undergraduate, same thing, right? Got to take your classes, get A's, get B's, move on to pharmacy school, go to pharmacy school. Same thing, right? You want to learn a lot, get good grades so that you can get into pharmacy residency, set yourself up for a good job down the road. If you want to work in the hospital, then at that point you become a pharmacist at a hospital, autopilot. Then I became a pharmacy director, autopilot. I started investing at the age of seriously at the age of 27, where I bought my first single family home. Then I bought my second single family home, my third, my fourth, my fifth. Bought my first apartment complex, my second apartment complex, and my mobile home park. Right, so I just felt like I was always on autopilot and I never really questioned like why I was doing it. Right? Like I just thought like it was the right thing to do, just like you, I listened to a lot of podcasts, Bigger Pockets is a big one. There's a lot of other podcasts, but I just would listen to this every day. And I just thought it was normal. Like, hey, like everyone I'm listening to is buying a bunch of real estate and they're retiring early. So I thought this is what I need to do. Right. And I never really questioned it. It just sounded cool to say. Like my goal was to hit 20K in passive income by the age of 35. The goal is still there, but I'm not really like I won't be disappointed. It's kind of a loose goal now. Like before, it was a hard goal, and I just felt like I was just sprinting towards that goal, like without any disregard. Never stop to reflect or look back at what I've accomplished. Like it's just like an automatic autopilot. Go, go, go. Right? You're just kind of like the Energizer Bunny. You just keep on marching forward, and you're not stopping to enjoy the moment or just analyzing like is this something that you want to do, right? So that's what happened to me. I basically scaled to like 90 units of real estate without stopping, and by nature of it I had to stop because I literally ran out of money. I invested all the money I had allocated towards real estate. Number two was I hit my mental capacity. I could not mentally take on any more, right? Three value add properties was enough for me. I have my mobile home park, I have my 26 unit and my 20 unit, right? That's a lot of work for most. That's a full time job already, right? And they all bomb at this around the same time. I'm doing my cash out refinance on my 20 unit at the same time that I'm trying to sell my mobile home park. So I'm doing two at the same time while I'm renovating my 26 unit apartment complex. So I have a lot of things going on, right? So by nature, I was forced to pause for the past year. I have not bought any real estate since May of 2022, end of May of 2022. It's now June of 2023. It's been over a year and I have not bought any real estate. I haven't even thought about buying real estate because I've maxed out, whether that's my money and my mental capacity, right? So I was forced to kind of pause. And during this pause, this is when I really, ironically, was when I started creating YouTube to share my journey. But this is when I really just started to think like, why am I doing this? Like, is this what I really want to do? And I just reflected, said, I put myself under so much stress to scale to 90 units, in like, in 1 year almost. And I'm like, I'm not happier. Like I was I always thought that, I hated my W 2 job. I wanted to leave it to get time freedom, to have, more options, to have passive income. But in a weird way, I created a job for myself now managing my real estate. And now that's starting to feel like a W 2 job. And the difference between real estate and W 2 is real estate, it's 24/7. My W 2, you just clock in 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, right? Business 24/7, real estate 24/7, right? So it gave me perspective. Like, you know what? I kind of appreciate my W 2 job. I mean, yes, there's pros and cons of doing your W 2 job, and there's pros and cons in doing your own business, and there's pros and cons of owning real estate, right? But it's just being very cognizant in what you're choosing. So, I've looked back and just said, wow, like honestly, like even if I sold my mobile home park, I'd probably have like 50 units. And if I let my two apartment complexes stabilize, that's probably enough cash flow. So that's 50 units. Let's say assume $200 per unit net cash flow. That's $10,000 a month, right? Like that's definitely obtainable by 35 in 2 years, right? My goal was 20K at 35, but hey, whatever. If I hit 10K at 35, I'm not going to beat myself up, right? Like that's still good. That technically replaces my W 2 income, right? But this other clarity that I gained was, you know what? I don't mind my W 2 income because I've been able for the longest time, my whole life, to juggle doing my day job with real estate, doing my day job with trying to create a business, right? Like a course business, social media, mastermind. So I've always been able to do it, and I enjoy it, right? Like there's things I enjoy about work, there's things I enjoy about real estate, there's things that I enjoy about business, and I'm able to balance all of them, like right now, right? So why am I killing myself to buy a bunch of real estate so I can leave my day job when I actually don't mind my day job as much? I think I just hated my day job because I got laid off, when COVID started, and it just left a little sour taste in my mouth. And that was at the time when I was like scaling real estate. So I put all my time, all my energy, all my identity into real estate and wanted to scale, but I ended up, going too fast and just said, whoa, I kind of went a little too fast and I went at a little unhealthy of a rate, right? Like I could have done and gotten to where I am much more slowly, less stressed, and still get there, right? It's not, like I said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? Everyone's at a different point. The key is to keep going. That's the most important thing, is keep going and you will get there. That's it, right? So the longer you stay in the race, if you can do something very boring, very ordinary for a long period of time, you will be successful at it, right? It doesn't sound sexy to say or appealing, but if you can do something very boring for a very long period of time, you'll be successful. Right? Look at Warren Buffett. He's been investing since for 90 years. And you see that compound over 90 years, that's crazy, right? It's actually very ordinary. The fact that you just analyze businesses for 90 years sounds very hard, but if you did something for 90 years, you'd be good at it, right? It'd be weird if you weren't good at it. So, that's what I kind of learned too. I said, like, do I actually want to own, like, let's say 500 units? Like, maybe one day, but like I could, if I really pushed it, I could probably get to 500 units if I start to like, partner people and scale. But like, is that what I want? Like, is that my lifestyle? Does that fit me like right now? Like, and at what point is money enough, right? Like, I honestly, I could probably stop buying any real estate and I probably would have hit my goal of enough. Like, I don't really have that lavish of a lifestyle, right? Like, I can live without having a nice car. I can live without having a super extravagant mansion that I'm living in, you know? So like, you don't need as much money as you think, right? Like I always thought like I need like 20K a month, $20 million net worth. But honestly, if I were to sell everything right now and had like 5 million, just sat on it, earning 7%, like you can live a pretty good life there, right? And enjoy it and do all that. So it was kind of very eye opening to me, like, oh, like, why am I death sprinting to buy as many units as possible, burning myself out, compromising work life balance a little bit when this is really a marathon? I'm already pretty good far in the race. Like, I honestly don't need to buy real estate. I can just stop right now, have 50 units in 30 years when I'm in my 60s, have it all paid off, and just live off all that cash flow right now. right? I don't have to buy a single piece of real estate and I'm done, right? Like just realizing that and accepting that was very powerful for me. I'm like, wow, I don't have to do anything more. I still will, but I don't have to go more than what I have right now. Like if let's just say I have a kid, I have a family, and I want to slow down on real estate, I can because I have enough, right? So this is what really got me to like thinking like in seasons of life, right? Like right now, it's just me, single, no kids, no wife, no other obligations. I can take that risk of what I did, right? Buy 80 units in 8 months. But let's just say I have kids and a wife and I want to slow down. At that point, is doing 3 value add apartment complexes, does that make sense right now? It probably doesn't. I don't want to put that time. I don't want to put that stress towards it. I want to focus on my kids, my family, my wife. So it may not make sense, right? So right now, when I don't have those obligations, I can do value add real estate, right? Value add real estate, it's a great way to build wealth, but it's a lot of work, right? I have to renovate 26 units in my 26 unit apartment complex, rent it out, stabilize it, manage the contractors, and then do a cash out refinance, which is difficult right now, and then pull out that money and then manage the property manager to get that monthly cash flow, right? Same mobile home park, gotta fix it up, flip it, sell it, right? 20 units, same thing. But I can make a lot of money, right? I can build a lot of wealth, but it requires more work and energy, right? So if I have that time and the energy to do it, great. But I might be in a season of my life where I have kids and a family, and I don't want to manage these renovations. I don't want to do all this. At that point, maybe I buy a turnkey apartment complex, right? Like I teach in my mentorship, we buy uh, properties at a discount, right? I bought my 26 unit for $500,000. They appraised at 750K day one, right? And then I'm gonna do a value add, renovate all the units to be worth maybe 1.2 to 1.3. It depends on what interest rates are, right? That's amazing wealth, right? I buy it for 500,000, put in 300, all in for 800,000. It's worth 1.3 million. You forced 500,000 equity, right? That's a huge win. Or, but that's a huge win assuming I have energy. If I have time or don't have time and energy, then I just can buy a turnkey apartment complex where I'm buying the apartment already renovated. I'm paying more money for it. I'm paying top, market value for it, and I just get maybe less cash flow, and it's just more of a long term game, right? So that's what I mean. Like, are you if you're willing to put in sweat equity, you're gonna make more money, but you're gonna have to put in more time, more energy, more stress. If you don't want to put in sweat equity, your returns gonna be less, but it's gonna be easier. So you have to kind of pick which one you want to prioritize, and it's gonna change in different seasons of your life. When you have no kids, no obligations, you don't mind putting that sweat equity and dealing with the stress. When you have kids, you don't want to put in sweat equity, you don't want to deal with stress. After your kids go to college, maybe you want to put in sweat equity, deal with stress, right? Different phases of life. So for me, I'm putting the sweat equity right now, but now I'm slowly transitioning to like maybe I want to buy more turnkey real estate. So it might be like my Alabama home I bought, single family home, new build, easy to buy, down $70,000. I bought for 270K, rents out for $2,000 a month. I cash flow $600 a month. Like it's not life changing. $600 isn't life changing, but it's so easy. I don't even think about it. I forget I own the deal, right? Like imagine if I bought like 5 of those. 600 times 5, that's $3,000 a month in passive income, and that covers my living my rent here in Los Angeles, right? It seems small, but hey, like, and that's very passive. I honestly could do that, right? Every year I could probably save up to buy $70,000 to buy one single family home in Alabama, put 25% down payment, and cash flow $600 a month. And I can save that $600 cash flow to then buy the next one, and it compounds, right? I can do it over 5 years easily. Why do you think about it, right? Another option is, because obviously I'm biased towards multifamily, is instead of me renovating the multifamily, buying at a discount, I just buy the multifamily, buy it at market value, make sure it cash flows day one, and I just slowly raise the rents, right? It's a lot more passive, right? Instead of coming in, me renovating it, turning over the tenants, renting new tenants, cash out refi, I just buy it market price. Oklahoma would be like you buy it, it's renovated, 50K per unit, it's renting for probably 600, $700 a month, and then you slowly just raise the rents organically, right? It's more passive. Or another option is maybe, which I'm gonna look later, is investing with syndicators, right? So what type of syndicator would I invest in? They have to be vertically integrated. So property management in-house, general contractor in-house, ideally. Number two is should be around for at least 20 years, because so that means they've been through multiple cycles. So they've been through the .com in 2020 or 2000. They've been through 2008. And now they're going through 2023, which is a new recession, right? You want someone who's been through recessions. A lot of real estate investors, including myself, we haven't been through recessions. This is our first one. So if I were to put money of a syndicate, I want them to do that. And number four is, what's their track record, right? Like, what's their track record of distributions? What's their track record of hitting their pro forma? What's their track record of doing that? So because I do real estate myself, I know how to vet a syndicator, right? So like, you can buy my course, learn how to vet properties, and then you can use that to vet syndicators, right? It works anyways, multiple ways. So that's what I want to do. And then for me, what I would personally do when I invest with syndicators, I would do the bare minimum. So the syndicator wanted 50K bare minimum or 100K. I just do 50K, 100K so I can diversify amongst multiple syndicators, right? Why would I give one syndicator $1 million when I can give 10 syndicators that I vetted $100,000 each, so that if one syndicator does not perform, I'm well spread out, right? And when you invest in syndicators, you want to diversify a little bit. Maybe one's mobile home park, one is apartment complex, one is self storage, one is industrial, whatever that is. You want to spread yourself out. So I might be doing a lot more of that when I'm in my more passive state, because like the whole point of making money is like to not create another job for yourself, to not create more stress. It's to really live life on your own terms. Like for me, I just really value time freedom. I'm at my happiest, so I'm just like very happy go lucky, joke around, just like to have a good time, positive attitude, just enjoying the simple things in life, whether it's going for a walk outside, whether it's just trying a new restaurant, traveling somewhere new. And, I just realized that if I was continuing my track on real estate, like the pace I was going, like that was not going to give that to me. It actually makes me more stressed and makes me not like real estate. So, I basically got a lot of clarity where, like, in my next phase of life, I'm okay with working, right? Like, my job, it's amazing. I don't mind working. Yes, there's some stress, right? You have to show up every day, Monday through Friday. Yes, there's going to be hard days. Yes, you have to report to a boss who may not be nice every day, but you're guaranteed income, right? Versus real estate, you might, with real estate, it's 24/7. Um, you have to put in sweat equity. You have to have knowledge. You have to continuously learn. You might have to hire new property managers, fire your property manager. It's 24/7, right? So if you're traveling, to Asia, you have to think about your real estate, right? So like, what's your goal, right? Just like for me, I might just buy enough real estate to like hit my goal of retiring a bit earlier, wherever age I'm hoping by 40s I'll retire. And at that point, maybe I'll just invest in syndicators where it's the best of both worlds, right? It's more passive. I get the tax write-offs, and I don't have to do the deal with the management, right? This is why we do real estate, is to make our lives easier. And maybe I don't want to do it anymore, or maybe I just want to buy like one value I do every 3 years, right? Like imagine after I sell my mobile park, cash out refinance my 20 unit, cash out refinance my 26 unit, maybe I'll buy like a 40 unit apartment complex and huge value add, and then I buy that. I'll just own that piece of real estate for the next 3 years while I'm stabilizing it, and that's it. I won't buy any additional real estate. Just do one at a time, right? Because it's just me. Like, I have enough. Another thing that kind of got me thinking was, like a lot of people, they invest, build wealth because they want to leave a legacy. But what's very eye opening, and I experienced it personally, is like when someone passes away, like unfortunately they forget about you, right? Like like let's just say I'm the one that builds a huge $100 million net worth. My kids will remember me, my grandkid may remember me, but my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, they don't know who I am. My great great grandchildren don't know who I am, right? Like they're gonna forget about you. So like, why not live for the now? Like legacy is a little bit overrated, right? Like honestly, if you leave your kids with just more than what you came in with, that's all you can ask for, right? Like, does your kid would your kids rather have, let's just say, instead of whatever, you having $20 million net worth versus a $10 million net worth, would they rather have you at 20 million and not be present, or at 10 million to be present, right? Like how much is enough is enough, right? So that's what I mean by like, at the rate I'm going, I could honestly buy a lot of real estate, but does that kind of align with my goals? And your goals change all the time. right? Like I said, right now I'm building wealth. My next phase for a bit, it's probably gonna be me slowing down. Finally just enjoy my life and reward myself and all the hard work I put in. And then there might be another phase where I want to build wealth again, right? So it just really depends. And you constantly have to be self aware and analyzing what it is you want. So, like you said, I'm definitely thinking about going down, investing in syndicators down the road, buying turnkey real estate. Like, I said when I bought apartment complexes, I only want to do apartment complexes, but I do admit it's a lot more work, right? Like single family home, you just buy it. It was new build, no renovation. Wait 2-3 months, rent it out. You make cash flow, easy, right? You don't worry about it. Apartments, oh my god! Like I bought a 20 unit. I had like 8 tenants leave. I was down to like 7 tenants. Had to renovate all 13 units and rent those out, right? And every day I'm constantly thinking about it. Same with my 26 unit. I'll rent 1 unit, renovate it, rent two out, then kick 2 tenants will leave, and then repeat the process, right? So single family is really easy. So I'm actually thinking of like, um, I might go through a phase where I'm just buying like single family homes just to like cover my basic living expenses, right? Like let's say my rent is my living expenses maybe $3,000 a month. Like I can buy 5 single family homes, new build, that cash flow $600 a month. Get that, and once I have that foundation, I can take the risk and buy apartments, right? So I'm even thinking about going that. Like, there's nothing wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with how you do real estate. To me, it's very easy, right? Like I just buy a property manager, I forget I own it, right? Or I can just find a good apartment complex. Or if I can't find any good apartment complexes, I can invest with syndicators. So that's the beauty about building wealth is it just gives you options and allows you to do what you want. You just have to evaluate what you want and not put your life on autopilot, right? Like be very intentional what you're doing. Like I fell into the trap, right? For the past 32 years of my life, I've been on autopilot and doing what I thought I should be doing, right? But at 33, I finally paused and said, geez, this is not what I envisioned myself to be. This is not what I thought it would feel like. So that's why it's hard for me now to like give big goals. Like a lot of people say in 10 years I want to have $1 billion of assets under management, and they don't even own an apartment complex yet. Like how do you know you want to have 1 billion apartments under management if you don't even own one? So I'm owning one, right? So once I own one, it's still different. Like if I were to syndicate, it's a different feeling. So maybe I'll syndicate one deal, see how I like it. I may hate it. If I like it, then at that point you can slowly scale up, right? But that's why I don't like it now when people say those big goals. I mean, it sounds cool to say, I get it, but it's not realistic. Like, how do you know? Like, I can't even think in like beyond 1 year goals now. I only do 1 year goals. Like, my 1 year goal is to cash out refinance my 20 unit, finish renovating my 26 unit, and sell my mobile home park. And at that point, I want to give myself a break, right? That's literally my 1 year goal right now. And, probably buy a house for me to live in, right? In Southern California. So at that point, once I accomplish those goals, then I'll reevaluate. Like, okay, what's my next 1 year goal? Is it just maybe to travel, maybe to exercise more, get back into fitness? Do I want to maybe just buy single family homes? I want to buy turnkey apartment complexes. Do I want to just invest in a syndicator? Like, what's my goal, right? So it's really, really great to kind of pause and reflect. So that's why I'm really leveraging this moment where it's really stressful, really anxious. You feel like life is hitting you, and I'm just trying to soak in all this information, all this knowledge, and get all this clarity, right? Because I'm fortunate I'm learning it now at 33 versus some people learn it a lot later, right? Like if I was learning this while I was having kids and raising a family, I'd be so stressed, right? But because it's just me, I'm still stressed, but no one else is at risk besides me right now. So, that's what's really key about really pausing to reflect on why you're doing it, right? And you're hearing it from me, right? Like you would think you own 9 units, you made it. Yes, like I am the definition of asset rich, cash poor, right? Like I have $5 million of assets, cash wise, very poor. That's why I still need to work, right? But if I had, let's say, a $5 million net worth and 4 million was assets and 1 million was just liquid cash sitting in my bank, oh, I'd be sitting gravy, right? I'd be sitting good on the beach where I live, right? So that's the difference between 5 million, all 5 millions in assets, no cash, versus 5 million net worth, 4 million assets, 1 million cash. It's a different feeling. So because of that, I know like the next piece of real estate I buy, I want to have good reserves. Like for me, I only feel good if I have $200,000 just sitting in my bank account as an emergency reserve. I have no reason why for 200,000. That's just a number where, because I have so much real estate, if I got hit with a $50,000 hit, I'm okay, right? I don't want to be stressed about it. Or if I see a good deal I want to buy, I have some money to buy. So you really have to find what works for you, and it really varies per person, right? Like that's why I said it's really key to understand context. It's really key to surround yourself with the right people. You can join my weekly Wednesday sessions. I would love to give you some one-on-one, coaching for free, to give value. Just because like everyone needs to like really have a reality check, right? Like it's cool to say you want to scale to 1,000 units, 100 units in 1 year, but do you have the mental capacity to do that? Do you have the resources to do that? Do you even want to do that? Right? So that's what's great by surrounding yourself with people who are actually doing what you want to do and you're learning from their mistakes, right? So that's why I'm really sharing my journey, is to really inspire those to say, it's not as great as you think it's going to be, but hey, like if you want to get to where I'm at, I can help you get there, but maybe let's do it in a way that makes sense for you and your situation right now. So overall, hope you learned a lot from kind of my mental clarity that I had recently. And I hope you see the next video. Thank you so much.